Mrs. President, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. But if everything is an illusion and nothing exists, how do we know if... But if everything is an illusion and nothing exists, humorist Woody Allen has observed, I definitely overpaid for my carpet. One person's interpretation can be completely different than another's. How do we know if what we experience in the world is true? Today I will try to answer this question. My speech consists of introduction, 3 chapters about illusions, imagination, perception of time, and conclusions. Our perception of reality is formed through the information we receive. 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. Visual processing needs to be both rapid and generally accurate. Our brain constantly uses shortcuts and makes assumptions about the world. These assumptions can, in some cases, be misleading. Artists, architects, and designers have used illusions for centuries to distort our perception. Archaeologists found cave drawings showing animals in action, the earliest origins of animation. By creating illusions of moving animals, Stone Age artists intended to give life to their paintings. Leonardo da Vinci used his scientific inquiry of human perception and light for artistic innovation, which is evident when his paintings are analyzed. For instance, his painting The Last Supper is known for groundbreaking treatment of light and perspective in two-dimensional art. Animals use visual signals for many purposes, including finding a mate and avoiding being eaten. For instance, males of great bowerbirds construct forced perspective illusions. When a female bowerbird stands in the center of the structure, the male bowerbird demonstrates her treasures standing at its other side. The forced perspective makes him look bigger against the background of the stone bedding. This type of illusion was used by ancient Greek architects. They designed columns for buildings, which tapered and narrowed towards the top. This created an impression of a taller building when viewed from the ground. Researchers in Sweden have found that our imagination can change our perception. Your mind can literally play tricks on you by changing illusions into what seems like reality. Studies show that our imagination of a sound or a shape can change how we perceive the world around us in the same manner as when we actually see that shape or hear that sound. Specifically, it was found that what we imagine hearing can change what we actually see, and what we imagine seeing can change what we actually hear. Recent researches on time perception is starting to show how our emotions can change, slow down, or speed up our perception of time. Fear prompts a state of arousal, which speeds up the rate of the internal clock, as the body prepares to perform, either by attacking or by running away. On the contrast, sadness doesn't change our perception of time, because the emotion felt is not strong enough to slow down our psychological functions. However, more research is needed on the profound sadness associated with periods of severe depression. Researchers show that our perception of time speeds up as we age. Temporal perception indicates that children do not start to keep track of time regularly until the age of 10. For a 3-year-old, the time is specifically associated with every single action. As they grow to an age of 5 or 6, they begin to realize that there is a single time continuum independent of individual actions. The rate at which time is perceived varies across animals. For example, flies process about 4 times more visual information per second than humans do. This allows them to avoid the newspaper in a similar fashion as the bullet bullet time sequence in famous movie The Matrix. In contrast, one species of tiger beetle runs too fast for his eyes to keep up. It essentially becomes blind and has to stop periodically to reevaluate its prey's position. The leatherback turtle analyzes about 1/3 of the rate, analyzes information at only about 1/3 of the rate of the humans. Therefore, the world drifts by only much slower than for us. There is no one single reality. One looking into the puddle sees the mud, the other sees the stars reflected in it, says a quote by Immanuel Kant written on a bench in the middle of Kaliningrad. The reality we see, hear, feel, and touch with our eyes, ears, heart, and hands is not an experience of our body. It is a creation within the mind. This is what Einstein wanted to say when he said that reality is an illusion. It follows that our entire experience cannot be real because it happens within our mind. Every person interacts with the world through the filter of his beliefs, understandings, expectations, fears, hopes, and needs. Mrs. President.